In this video, we will look at identities. There are reciprocal identities, quotient identities, and Pythagorean identities. And I would encourage you to memorize these identities. So if cosine theta is equal to negative 4 over 5, find secant of theta. Well, if you look at your reciprocal identity, I know that secant of theta is equal to 1 over cosine of theta. So if you know cosine, all you have to do is to flip the number. Negative 5 over 4. All right, if sine of theta is equal to 3/5 and cosine of theta is equal to 4/5 times, find the tangent of theta. Okay, this is a quotient identity. Tangent of theta is equal to sine over cosine. So therefore, tangent of theta is equal to 3/5 divided by 4/5. And if we look at that, that's a negative. So I want to watch my signs. So tangent of theta is equal to negative 3/4. Because if you recall from algebra, if you have a fraction on a fraction, that's called a complex fraction, your denominators divide out and you get negative 3/4. Okay, if cosine of theta is equal to 1/3, find cosine squared. Okay, this means cosine of theta squared. So cosine, we put the 2 between the cosine and the theta, that's equal to 1/3 squared. If you recall, 1/3 squared is 1 over 9. Find sine theta if cosine of theta is equal to 5 over 13 and it terminates in quadrant 4. So what I would suggest we do is I would draw a picture. So cosine is x over r. So if I find y, we have 5 squared plus y squared equals r squared. So 25 plus y squared equals 169. Y squared is equal to 144. Square root both sides. So y is equal to 12. But I want to remind you that in quadrant 4, sine is negative. So your x value is 5, negative 12, your r is 13. So again, by what we learned last time, in terms of x, y, and r, sine of theta is equal to y over r. So sine of theta is equal to negative 12 over 13. If cosine of theta is equal to negative 1/2 and theta terminates in quadrant 2, find sine of theta. Now, what else we could do is use the Pythagorean. Sine squared theta plus cosine squared of theta is equal to 1. So what we have is x squared plus negative 1/2 squared is equal to 1. So x squared plus 1/4 is equal to 1. X squared is equal to 3/4. So x is equal to the square root of 3 over 4. So that's x is equal to the square root of 3 over 2. Now let's think about it. In quadrant 2, sine is y over r. Okay, so I know what I have. So I said let sine of x, let x equal sine of theta. So I've done a replacement. So that I now know that sine of theta is equal to the square root of 3 over 2. Okay, so in this case, it's y over r, and y is positive, so I know it's square root of 3 over 2. Okay, find the remaining trigonometric ratios of theta if cosine of theta is equal to negative 1/3 and theta is not in quadrant 3. Okay, so you want cosine to be negative 1/3, so that's x over r. So x is negative in quadrants 2 and 3. So that means that we want to have this picture, negative 1, we want a 3 here. So again, we have to find y. Negative 1 squared plus y squared plus 3 squared. 1 plus y squared equals 9. Y squared equals 8. Y is equal to the square root of 8. So if we break it down, that's y is equal to 2 square root of 2. Okay. So sine of theta is x. In this case, it's negative. So sine of theta is equal to negative 2 root 2 over 3. Cosine of theta is equal to negative 1/3. And tangent of theta is equal to y over x. 2 root 2 over negative 1, which is equal to negative 2 root 2. Okay, reciprocals, cosecant theta is equal to r over x, which is 3, it's negative, divided by 2 root 2. Secant of theta is equal to negative 3. And tangent of theta is equal to negative 1 over 2 square root of 2. So you can see if I know my different identities, it will make my trigonometry easier.